let me just underscore that we'll find the way you suggested to organize our session some really shared analysis and conclusions. I will start by saying that for Latin American Jewish life, and for a significant part of the other 100%, the 21st century poses the paradox of innerly diversified, shrinking communities, and at the same time, an expanded and revitalized Jewish life. An historical global people facing the need to review its capacity to generate responses to a global world. Besides the weight of the numbers that Professor de la Pérgola presented, and besides what we know, which is the public energy, which points to qualitative evaluation of the presence, I want to underscore the potential limits of thinking in terms of the other 20%, as an aim, as an approach to reality. And this is a potential limit for a global people as the Jewish people in times of globalization. Instead of the other 20%, both as the otherness and as a percentage, I want to adhere to a comprehensive view of the 100%, certainly without canceling the specificities and singularities of the diverse communities, regions, countries, societies. As a global people, which inhabits in diverse contexts, in voluntary communal settings, and in a sovereign state, the undisputable historical complexity of the Jewish world is enhanced today. As individual and as a collective, we face radical challenges that are both common and singular. Jewish life is open today to new questions, to the known and the not known, what, how, what for, why, and where, in order to contribute to enrich the experience of being and belonging to Klal Israel. Therefore, I want to affirm the importance of a wide Jewish public conversation and thought based on overlapping dialogues that cross borders, a conversation in which take part researchers, leadership, but also constituencies, affiliated and not affiliated, those who inhabit different present and virtual worlds, those who are here and there, home and abroad, those who cross frontiers of communication and also build elective networks. From Latin American perspective, but not only, as we could listen, new economic models have brought achievement and cyclical crises. Growing democratization processes have reached high points, but economic and political change combined provoked increased emigration fluxes of Latin American Jews from the regions, both due to crisis as well as professional prospect and expanding markets. So there are different contexts and different opportunities. If we look at the region, Argentina still hosts the largest community. The demographic profile of the Jewish population in Mexico has been more stable than the Argentinian, which decreases. Uruguay, Venezuela, Chile, Salvador, Ecuador, Peru, and Paraguay have decreased. Brazil, for other reasons, maintains a more stable profile, and there are, of course, communities that are growing, as is the case of Panama or Costa Rica. Therefore, we need other elements to explain also this Jewish mobility. Now, in spite of this decreasing trend, the current scenario can be viewed also as one of shifting frontiers of Jewish Latin American life. I refer to an expanded and revitalized Latin American presence beyond the territorial borders. There is a relocation of Jewish life in new places. They are not only in the regions, they are also in other places, certainly in Israel and the States. So there is a redefinition of links with Israel as an historical center, an ideological commitment, and with the Jewish world. Now, are these realities and potentialities captured by institutions? Because we don't have time to analyze, but we know today that those who are there have founded an intense Jewish life. That today, for example, in the United States, 500,000 of Latin Americans are in their system of science and technology, among which a high proportion of Jews are there. So what we see is that certainly this potentiality, this new option of being Jew, Latin America, and live in other places, in other societies, means that we have to look at immigration with other lenses. And here we see that the perception of leadership is not necessarily that. In the case of Argentina, for example, recent studies point that the significant reduction of their population, close to 35% of reductions in between 1970 and 2010, in spite of this fact, only 8% of their leadership expressed that immigration constitutes a serious threat. And this is mainly related to a perception of a communal recovery of institutional building and also the return movements that are taking place. There is a context, a reality, a Jewish world, a global world, which is interconnected. Now, according to the last American Jewish Distribution Committee survey regarding opinion makers, almost all interviews agreed that it is very important to strengthen the relation among Jews living all over the world. However, 6 out of 10 disagreed with the statement that each local community was actually integrated to other Latin American Jewish communities or to world Jewry. This means that while being aware of the need of take advantage of a transnational network of Jewish life, this expectation has not necessarily been matched by the reality on the ground. If I look at it, I would say that it remains as one of the main questions, the way communal, regional, and global policy addresses these new trends. Now, let me refer briefly to what we may say that are particular and shared processes. Similar to other Jewish communities worldwide, Latin American Jewish collective life shows both convergent and divergent trends. There are transitions from individualization to collective affirmation, from congregation to communal access, the growing role of synagogues, from secularization to rising religiosities. These trends are not linear and they are closely related to worldwide Jewish processes. There is, first of all, let me refer to some of them, communities that were characterized by a model of Jewish corporate experiences, secularized, the cohesive Jewish kehillah. We observe today a newly expanding claim of religious experience, but an experience that is connected in relevant and practical ways with and within the known universe of Jewish community institutions and patterns that are transnationally connected. The emerging pattern could be described either as disappointment, facing the secular and political alternative within the Jewish realm. This is a shared question. or probably also by questioning the basic paradigm of peaceful integration into the local national civic mainstream, of being equal while at the same time preserving a significant amount of Jewish community autonomy. Now we have to ask, is the civil society ready to accept? Are we talking of a national expectation of individual assimilation, or this new trend that emerges all over in Europe, in Latin America, that we may call assimilated ethnicity, which means recognizing the existence of a Jewish community, but expecting its participation in national affairs? Are the aspirations of the organized Jewish community related to this? Are they able to interpret it? I would say that there is still another question. Is such revival of religion directed from the local community, or is it better characterized as joining the local community with a transnational community of believers under one superior authority, usually located in the United States or in Israel? But progressively, we also see developing authorities and roots that change the relation between the external and the internal. Latin America is known today by the force and strength of the conservative movement. Just to point, close to 25 rabbis of the conservative movement presently serve throughout the United States and circulate from the south to the north. They participate in developing a new matrix where congregation and community come together. Although extreme religious and self-segregation strategies are still marginal in Latin American Jewish life, we do see also a very important expansion of Haredi life, of Chabad in the continent. Now, seen from the perspective of local communities facing different challenges regarding continuity, I would like to end this first part of my intervention pointing to the Jewish education realm, which has been a top priority of Jewish communities. Education had a central role in shaping Latin American Jewish life, was historically prioritized over other collective needs in religion, and was characterized by integral education day school. Just to point, only in Mexico, with a population close to 50,000, there are 16 day schools. One school for each 2,500 Jews in Mexico. The student population has grown 16% in the last 8 years, as compared to a 6% Jewish population growth. So here we have really serious connection where we can come to conclusion regarding institution, regarding density of institution, and regarding cost. Just want to then to refer that while sharing global threats and expressing singularity, the links and attachment to Israel have been central and are also today in the educational realm exposed to transformation to which we can refer later on. Thank you.